The arrival Captain Ryan Carter opened his eyes slowly, his head heavy like stone. A strange humming sound filled his ears. The last thing he remembered was flying his ship near an uncharted planet, scanning for resources, then something bright. A beam of energy had hit his vessel. He tried to move, but the surface beneath him was not the cold metal of his ship. It was smooth and warm like glass. He sat up and looked around. The room was large, circular, and glowing with soft blue light. Strange symbols floated in the air like tiny stars. They moved when he blinked, shifting position as if alive. The walls pulsed gently, like they were breathing. Ryan's heart began to race. He was not on his ship. He was inside something alive, a prison, maybe, or a palace. Then he saw them. Two tall figures stood near a door-like opening, their bodies covered in silver armor that reflected the blue glow, their faces hidden by smooth helmets with narrow slits of light where eyes should be. They were not human, and from the way they stood, perfectly still, he knew they were guards. Before he could speak, the guards moved aside. A figure entered the room. She was taller than any human woman he had seen. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver. Her hair flowed like strands of crystal, catching the light with every step. Her eyes, bright and sharp, locked onto his. Ryan felt a strange pull in his chest. She was beautiful, but there was something dangerous about her. She stopped only a few steps away. Her voice was calm but carried a weight of command. "Marry me, human, or you die at sunset." Ryan blinked, certain he had misheard. "What?" he asked, his voice rough. "You will be my husband," she said, each word slow and clear. "Or you will be executed before the sun touches the horizon." Ryan's mind spun. This had to be a dream, or maybe a twisted joke. But when the two guards took a step forward, weapons raised, he realized it was no joke. He stood up slowly. "I don't even know you," he said. "And I don't know where I am." "You are in the Hall of Radiance," she replied. "The heart of my palace." She tilted her head slightly. "I am Princess Zira, heir to the Valen throne." Ryan crossed his arms. "And you think I'll just say yes because you told me to?" Her eyes narrowed. "I do not think, human. I command." The humming in the air grew louder. Ryan noticed the walls shifting slightly, as if the room was listening to their words. "Why me?" Ryan asked. "You must have thousands of people. You could marry from your own kind." She took a slow breath. "The prophecy speaks of a warrior from the stars, one who cannot be read, one who cannot be bent." Ryan frowned. "Can't be read?" "My people," Zira said, "can see thoughts, can taste lies, but you are silent to us. It is strange, it is rare, it is valuable." Ryan stepped back. The idea of someone reading his mind made his skin crawl, and the fact that she couldn't made him even more suspicious. "I'm not marrying anyone," he said, "especially not someone who kidnaps me." The guards moved again, but Zira raised her hand. They froze. She stepped closer until her silver eyes were inches from his. "You have until sunset," she said softly. "If you choose to die, I will make it quick. If you choose to live, you will stand beside me as my husband and the savior of my throne." Ryan tried to hide his fear, but his heart was pounding so loud he was sure she could hear it. He glanced toward the door, wondering if he could run, but the palace itself seemed to shift and twist, closing paths before they even formed. Zira turned and began walking away. "Guards, show him the sky balcony," she ordered. "Let him see the sun, and know how little time he has." The guards motioned for Ryan to follow. They led him through corridors that curved like the inside of a seashell. The air smelled faintly of metal and flowers. The walls sometimes opened to reveal glimpses of alien gardens, waterfalls made of glowing liquid, and skies filled with strange flying creatures. When they reached the balcony, Ryan stepped out and froze. The view was unlike anything he had seen. The sky was a swirl of deep gold and violet. A giant sun hung low, sending long shadows over the alien city below. The city was alive with lights, towers of crystal, and rivers of light flowing between them. It was beautiful, but Ryan's eyes were drawn to the sun. It was already sinking. One of the guards spoke for the first time, his voice metallic. "When the last ray fades, your choice will be made for you." Ryan gripped the balcony rail. His mind was racing. He had been given an impossible choice: marry an alien princess he didn't trust, or die on a planet he didn't understand. Somewhere inside, a stubborn voice told him he wouldn't do either. Somehow he would find a way to survive. On his own terms. The Ultimatum's reason. Ryan spent the next hour on the sky balcony, watching the alien sun slide lower. The air was cool, but every breath felt heavier, like the planet itself was pressing against his chest. Somewhere far below, the city's strange music rose and fell, carried by the wind. The guards stood silent behind him, unmoving as statues. He could not tell if they were alive under the armor or some kind of machine. The only sign of life was the soft flicker of light inside their helmets, when the sound of footsteps echoed behind him. Ryan didn't turn. He already knew who it was. Princess Zira stepped onto the balcony, the fading sunlight turning her crystal hair into a crown of fire. She studied him for a moment, her silver eyes unreadable. Then she said, "You want to know why?" Ryan leaned on the rail. "Why me? Why marriage? Why all this?" She walked to the edge beside him. "Because my people are dying," she said, "and the stars have spoken." Ryan almost laughed. "The stars?" "In my world," Zira said, "prophecy is not a story. It is a record of what will be, written by those who came before. It has never been wrong." She turned to face him. "It says that when the great shadow rises, a warrior from beyond the moons will stand beside the princess, and their union will stop the fall of the Veilland throne." Ryan shook his head. "You don't even know me." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "That is why you are the one." Ryan frowned. "That doesn't make any sense." Zira's voice dropped lower. "My people can read the minds of every living creature. We can see their fears, their lies, their hopes. But when I look at you, I see nothing. You are like a wall of stone. Your thoughts are your own. That makes you dangerous and valuable." Ryan crossed his arms. "Or maybe I'm just not playing your game." A small smile touched her lips. "It is not a game, human. It is war." The wind grew colder. Somewhere in the city, a long horn sounded. The guards stiffened. Zira looked toward the distant mountains. "The Dravek Empire is moving closer every day. Their ships burn worlds. Their soldiers take everything. If they take my throne, they will take your Earth next." Ryan's chest tightened. "Earth?" "Yes," she said. "You think you were brought here by accident, but your ship entered our skies because I called it." Ryan turned sharply. "You attacked my ship." "I intercepted you," she corrected. "If I had not, the Dravek scouts would have destroyed you before you even saw them." Ryan took a step back. "So this is blackmail. You saved me. Now I owe you a wedding?" Her expression did not change. "It is survival, for both our worlds." The horn sounded again, closer this time. One of the guards spoke in a language Ryan didn't understand. Zira replied quickly, her voice sharp. She turned back to him. "You have less time than you think. The sun is not your only enemy here." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "Then maybe I should leave right now." She stepped closer, the sunlight catching the edge of her jaw. "You can try, but the palace will not let you. The walls know you now. They will shift and turn, and you will be lost until I call you back." Ryan glanced at the guards, their glowing eyes fixed on him. "So I'm trapped." "You are chosen," she said. "The difference is only in how you see it." A sudden tremor shook the balcony floor. Far away, dark shapes moved in the clouds. Ryan didn't know if they were ships or something worse. Zira pointed to the horizon. "The shadow rises, and soon this city will be under fire with you beside me. We might survive. Without you, we will burn, and so will your Earth." Ryan looked at her, searching for a lie in her silver eyes, but he found only steel. She believed every word. "Sunset," she reminded him. Your choice must be made. The escape attempt. The sun was lower now, a giant gold coin sinking into the horizon. Shadows stretched long over the alien city, and the air felt heavier, like the sky itself was leaning down to crush him. Ryan stood in the chamber they had given him. It was beautiful, like something from a dream. Glowing walls, floating lights, a bed that looked like it was made from clouds. But it wasn't a room, it was a cage. He had spent the last hour walking every inch of it, touching the walls, testing the floor. Even the windows were strange. Clear one moment, solid the next. The palace was alive and it was watching him. When the sound of footsteps faded in the corridor, Ryan acted. He pulled a small device from the inside of his jacket, a flat, silver square no bigger than a coin. It was a pulse beacon, designed to overload nearby sensors. He had one chance. Pressed the button, the air shimmered, and for a brief second, the glowing walls flickered like a glitching screen. A small gap appeared where the doorway had been sealed. Ryan didn't think. He slipped through. The corridors were twisting, made of the same breathing walls. They curved and bent in impossible angles. But he moved fast, taking turns at random, trusting speed over direction. The palace reacted. Lights dimmed, and the floor beneath him rippled. Like water, he stumbled, caught himself, and kept running. He passed strange rooms, one filled with giant floating crystals that sang like voices, another with a pool of black liquid reflecting the sky that wasn't the one outside. In every reflection, he looked older. A shadow moved ahead. Ryan froze. A servant was carrying a tray of glowing fruit. Her eyes widened at the sight of him. She opened her mouth, to scream or to call guards. He didn't wait to find out. He dashed forward, knocked the tray aside, and kept running. The hall ahead began to twist, bending upward like the inside of a spiral shell. He climbed, each step pulling him higher, until he burst through an archway into the open air. It was a landing platform, lit by thin blue lines. And at the far end sat a sleek silver craft, small, fast, perfect for escape. Ryan's pulse raced. He sprinted toward it, but halfway there, something landed on the platform with the weight of thunder. Princess Zira. She didn't look angry. She looked amused. Her crystal hair shimmered in the dim light. Her silver eyes locked on him. "You run well," she said. "Better than most prey." Ryan backed toward the ship. "I'm not prey," he said. "No," she agreed. "You are stubborn, and stubbornness is the seed of survival." He tightened his grip on the beacon. "Stay back," she tilted her head. "Or what? You will shock me? You will run into the cold sky without knowing where the Dravik fleet waits?" Ryan hesitated. "Dravik fleet? They are already near our moon," she said. "If you leave this planet tonight, they will find you before you leave our system. And they will tear your ship apart, just as they have torn apart many others." Her voice was calm, but her words hit like stone. Ryan didn't lower the beacon. "Then maybe I'll take my chances," Zira smiled, slow and sharp. "If you wished to die, you would have stayed in your room. No. You wish to live, and for that, you need me." In a sudden move, she stepped aside, clearing the path to the silver craft. "Go, human," she said. "See what happens when you try to fly from the prophecy." Ryan didn't trust her, but his instinct screamed to move. He ran to the craft, the controls lighting up at his touch. The engine roared, and he lifted into the alien sky. The city fell away beneath him. The horizon opened, and he pushed the throttle hard. Then he saw them, black shapes, sharp as knives, sliding out from behind. The planet's shadow, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, Dravik ships. Their formation closed around him like the jaws of a trap. The cum crackled. Zira's voice filled the cabin. "I told you, Ryan Carter. You are mine to protect, and mine to destroy." The ships turned toward him, their weapons glowing. And for the first time since he woke up in the alien palace, Ryan wondered if marrying her might actually be the only way to survive. *The assassins. Game Ryan was back in the palace, though he wasn't sure how. One moment he had been surrounded by Gravak ships. The next the silver craft systems had frozen, and a blinding light had swallowed everything. When his vision cleared, he was standing in a high, narrow hall lit by floating orbs. The guards were gone. The air smelled faintly of burning metal. Princess Zira stepped from the shadows. "Now you see," she said, "the Dravik will not let you leave alive. They fear what you might become." Ryan didn't answer. His head was pounding, his thoughts tangled. He was alive, for now, but still her prisoner. That night, they gave him a new room. Smaller and darker than the last. The walls here didn't glow. They pulsed faintly, like the slow beat of a heart. A tray of food waited for him. Tall glasses of shimmering liquid and strange bread that smelled faintly sweet. He didn't touch it. He sat on the edge of the bed, thinking about escape. Then he heard it. A whisper, soft and close. Like someone speaking just behind his ear. He turned, but the room was empty. The whisper came again, this time from the corner where the shadows gathered. A shape moved there, stepping forward into the dim light. It was a servant, at least. She wore the plain silver robes of one, but her eyes were wrong, too sharp, too focused. And in her hand was a blade that seemed to drink in the light around it. Ryan rose slowly. "Who are you?" The woman smiled. "The one who ends the mistake." Before he could move, she lunged. The blade cut the air where his head had been a second ago. He grabbed the small table and slammed it into her arm. The blade clattered across the floor, hissing like a live wire, but she was fast, too fast. She hit him hard in the chest, sending him to the floor. She reached for the blade and froze. A silver spear was pressed through her back. The point emerged just inches from Ryan's face. "Princess." Zira stood behind her, one hand holding the spear with casual strength. Her eyes were calm, but her voice was cold. "You are not allowed to touch him." The servant gasped once, then went still. Zira pulled the spear free, letting the body fall soundlessly to the floor. Ryan sat up, his breath ragged. What was that?" "An assassin," Zira said, wiping the blade on the dead woman's robe. "Sent by those who believe prophecy can be killed." Ryan shook his head. "Why protect me? If I'm just your prisoner, let them finish the job." She stepped closer, her silver eyes locking on his. "You are not my prisoner, you are my choice." She leaned in slightly. "And no one takes what is mine." Her words hung in the air, sharp and final. Ryan realized it wasn't just protection, it was possession. She dropped the spear, and the floor seemed to swallow it whole. "You will stay in my sight until the wedding," she said. "No shadows, no locked doors. The palace will keep you close." Ryan stood, his mind racing. The attack had been real. The danger growing. If others were willing to kill him before the wedding, then maybe this was bigger than Zira was saying. But one thing was certain, the palace was not just a cage now. It was a battlefield, and the war had already begun. The wedding trap the palace was alive with sound. Drums pounded like a heartbeat, deep and slow, echoing through the crystal halls. Alien voices rose in strange, sharp melodies. Somewhere above, giant banners of silver and black rippled in the warm air. Ryan walked between two rows of armored guards. His wrists were free, but he knew he wasn't a guest. Every step brought him closer to the towering crystal doors ahead. Behind them was the hall of bonding and the wedding princess. Zira walked beside him, her face unreadable, her silver hair flowing like liquid light. She wore no crown, only a collar of black metal set with a single glowing stone. Ryan noticed the stone pulsed in time with the drums. The doors opened. The hall of bonding was vast. The ceiling seemed to vanish into darkness. The walls were made of shifting crystal, showing glimpses of alien skies, strange oceans, and faces he didn't recognize. In the center of the hall was a circular platform, etched with glowing patterns. The designs twisted and rearranged themselves. Like they were alive, around the platform stood tall figures in ceremonial armor, their faces hidden. Ryan's instincts screamed at him. Something was wrong. The air felt different, heavy, electric, dangerous. They stepped onto the platform, and the glowing symbols flared brighter. Ryan saw them again, the same markings he'd noticed in the wreckage. Near his ship before he was captured, he leaned toward Zira. "What is this?" "The right," she said, her voice low. "It binds not only bodies, but souls." Ryan's gut twisted. He scanned the markings again, and his stomach dropped. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a tether. The patterns were an energy trap, one that could merge two beings permanently. Mind and body. If he stepped fully into the center, there would be no escape ever. The officiant, a tall figure with 6 shimmering eyes, stepped forward. He spoke in a language Ryan didn't understand, but every word made the platform glow brighter. Zira turned to him, extending her hand. Her eyes locked on his. "Take it," she said. Ryan didn't move. "If I don't?" Her expression didn't change. "The platform will still choose, but the merge will be violent." The officiant's voice rose, the air vibrating. The glowing lines on the floor began to rise like threads of light, twisting toward Ryan's feet. Ryan's heartbeat thundered in his ears. He needed a way out, fast. His eyes darted to the stone in Zira's collar, still pulsing in time with the drums. He had seen something like it in the palace corridors. A control node, a living piece of the palace itself, in one sharp move. Ryan grabbed Zira's hand, not to accept, but to pull her forward. He snatched the glowing stone from her collar, the moment it left her neck. The patterns on the floor screamed. The sound was high and sharp, like glass breaking inside his skull. The platform's light went wild, twisting upward in a storm of broken symbols. The officiant staggered back, the armored figures raised their weapons. Zira's eyes blazed, not with anger, but with something stranger, respect. "You just ended the right," she said, her voice almost a whisper. "No one has ever broken it." The walls of the hall began to ripple. Doors sealing, guards closing in. Ryan still held the glowing stone, its light burning against his palm. He didn't know what it could do, but it was the only thing keeping the palace from swallowing him whole. And from the way Zira was looking at him now, the game had changed. Human defiance. The hall of bonding erupted into chaos. The glowing patterns on the floor shattered into streams of light, racing up the walls like frightened birds. Guards moved in fast, their silver armor flashing under the broken glow. Ryan tightened his grip on the stolen stone. It pulsed like a living heart in his palm. Every beat sent a ripple through the air, and the palace seemed to flinch at each one. "Give it back," one of the guards demanded, his voice a low metallic growl. Ryan took a step back. "No." The floor shifted under him. Sharp crystal spikes rising where his feet had been. He leaped aside, the stone burning hotter. Almost without thinking, he raised it. The nearest spike froze mid-air, then melted away into the floor. Ryan's eyes widened. "It controls the palace." Zira moved toward him, her expression unreadable. "You are holding its heart, human. It will obey you for now." The guards advanced, weapons drawn. Ryan aimed the stone toward the wall. Behind them, the crystal surface twisted, opening into a jagged spiraling tunnel. He ran. The tunnel curved like a living serpent, lights flashing along the walls, as if guiding him. Behind him, the sound of armored footsteps pounded closer. The palace began to fight back, trying to close the path ahead. Ryan pushed the stone forward, willing it to stay open. The walls hesitated, then peeled away, forming a bridge over a pit of shifting darkness. Halfway across, a massive shape rose from the shadows. A guardian. Its body was made of black glass and molten light, its head splitting open to reveal a mouth lined with blades. Ryan's pulse spiked. He pointed the stone at it. "Back off!" The guardian froze, its molten light dimming. Then slowly, it lowered its head and stepped aside. Zira's voice echoed through the air. "You're learning fast." Ryan reached the far side, the bridge collapsing behind him. He turned into another corridor and found Zira standing there, waiting. She wasn't holding a weapon, just watching him like a teacher watching a student. "You could leave now," she said. "The palace would carry you to the outer gates." Ryan's grip on the stone tightened. "Then let me go." She took a step closer. "But if you leave, the Dravik will take you before your ship reaches open space, and they will use you to find Earth." Ryan's breath was ragged. "You keep saying that." "Because it is true," she said, her voice firm. "You have two choices. Ryan Carter, run and doom your people, or stay and fight beside me." The palace walls seemed to pulse with her words, as if the building itself was waiting for his decision. The stone in his hand grew warmer, almost urging him toward something. He looked into her silver eyes. Then he turned away. "If I stay, it's on my terms." For the first time Zira smiled. "Then make them." The ground shook under their feet, and a distant boom echoed through the halls. The Dravik had arrived. Truth and choice. The palace trembled. Dust fell from the high crystal ceilings, and the walls rippled like water struck by a stone. Outside, deep booms rolled through the air. The Dravik had broken through the outer shields. Ryan stood beside Zira on the sky balcony. The city below burned in patches of orange and blue fire. Alien ships weaved between the towers, trading blasts of light that split the night sky. "You still haven't given me an answer," Zira said, her voice calm even as war roared around them. Ryan gripped the palace's heartstone in his hand. Its pulse was faster now, matching the rhythm of his own. "You've given me nothing but threats and riddles," he said. "Why should I trust you?" Zira turned to face him fully. Her silver eyes seemed brighter against the dark sky. "Because I was not lying. The prophecy is not about saving me. It is about saving you, all of you." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Earth," she nodded once. "The Dravik already know it exists, but they do not know where it is. Without you, they will tear the galaxy apart to find it, and when they do, they will make your people slaves or worse." Lightning split the clouds above, revealing dark shapes, Dravan warships, descending like predators. Ryan shook his head. "So your plan is to marry me, and—" "What? Rule two worlds?" "Unite them," she said simply. "Only a bond between human and Vaelin will give us the power and authority to call on both our armies. Without it, we will fall one by one." The balcony shook violently. A blast of energy hit a tower nearby, sending shards of crystal raining into the streets. Ryan glanced at the chaos, then back at her. "And if I refuse?" Her gaze hardened. "Then you can take your ship, fly into the sky, and watch from the stars as your home burns." The heartstone throbbed in his hand, hotter now, almost alive. Ryan realized something. The stone wasn't just the palace's heart. It was a key, and if it could control the palace, maybe it could control more. But before he could speak, the air above them split open. A massive Dravak dreadnought emerged, its black hull glowing with burning symbols, its cannons aimed directly at the palace. The Heartstone's pulse became frantic. Zira stepped closer, her voice low but fierce. "Choose now, Ryan Carter. Marry me, or let both our worlds burn." Ryan looked at her hand, at the burning city, at the dreadnought lowering into attack position. The sky lit up as the first blast charged. He took a sharp breath and stepped forward. The screen went black. The sound of the blast cut off mid-roar.